White House release published Sunday, October 26, 2025. Agreement between the United States of America and Malaysia on reciprocal trade. The United States and Malaysia have agreed to strengthen their trade relationship. Both countries will address tariff and non-tariff barriers to enhance reciprocity. Malaysia will apply specific customs duty rates to U.S. goods, while the United States will apply revised reciprocal tariffs to Malaysian goods. Malaysia will not impose quantitative restrictions or use import licensing to limit U.S. imports, except as allowed under international rules. U.S. standards for goods will be accepted in Malaysia, and technical regulations must be non-discriminatory. Malaysia will provide fair market access for U.S. agricultural goods and ensure that sanitary measures are science-based. U.S. cheese and meat terms listed in the agreement will not face market access restrictions. Malaysia will protect intellectual property rights and enforce them at borders and online. Commitments on trade and services made with other countries will also apply to the United States, except for those with ASEAN. Malaysia will adopt good regulatory practices for transparency and predictability. It will prohibit imports of goods made with forced labor within 2 years and protect internationally recognized labor rights. Environmental protections will be upheld and enforced. Malaysia will support technology solutions for paperless trade and digital procedures. It will align border measures with future U.S. measures to prevent regulatory arbitrage and will not impose discriminatory value-added or digital services taxes on U.S. companies. Digital trade will be facilitated, with protections for cross-border data transfers and cooperation on cybersecurity. Malaysia will not require U.S. persons to transfer technology as a condition for doing business, except in specific cases such as government procurement or legal compliance. Both countries agree not to impose customs duties on electronic transmissions and support a permanent moratorium at the WTO. The agreement's benefits are intended for the U.S., Malaysia, and their nationals. If benefits go mainly to third countries, either party may set rules of origin to ensure the agreement's intent. If the U.S. imposes import restrictions on third country goods for security reasons, Malaysia will adopt equivalent measures or agree to a timeline for implementation. Malaysia will act against unfair practices by third country companies that harm U.S. exports or increase below market price exports to the U.S. Malaysia will cooperate with the U.S. to regulate trade in sensitive technologies, align with U.S. export controls, and ensure Malaysian companies do not undermine these controls. Malaysia will restrict transactions with individuals and entities listed by U.S. authorities and explore investment review systems for national security risks. The United States will work with Malaysia to improve defense trade and combat transshipment and duty evasion. If Malaysia signs a new trade agreement with a country that threatens essential U.S. interests, the United States may end this agreement and reimpose tariffs. Malaysia will not purchase nuclear reactors or related materials from certain countries unless no alternatives exist on comparable terms. Malaysia will promote U.S. investment in sectors such as critical minerals, energy, telecommunications, transportation, and infrastructure, aiming to facilitate about $70 billion in job-creating investment in the United States over 10 years. Malaysia's state-owned enterprises will act commercially and not discriminate against U.S. goods or services. Subsidies will be limited to public service obligations, and information about subsidies must be provided upon request. Both countries recognize their rights and obligations under World Trade Organization agreements. The agreement enters into force 60 days after both parties complete legal procedures or on another agreed date. Amendments take effect 60 days after completion of legal procedures by both sides. Either country may impose additional tariffs to address unfair trade practices or protect national security. If either party believes the other has not complied, it may review the terms and take action under domestic law, seeking consultations when possible. The agreement may be terminated by either party with written notice, taking effect 180 days after notification. Key terms are defined in the agreement, including customs duties, import licensing, intellectual property, labor rights, and prudential regulation. Labor protections apply in special economic zones, and Malaysia retains the right to regulate in the public interest. Thanks for listening. The full source material for this summary is in the description below.